He doesn't look down.
On the mountain trail, men.
The pass is still holding. The door is still closed.
His eyes say it before his mouth can. They're behind us!
For a moment, the air goes thin.
This place isn't a battlefield. It's a gate. An empire arrives in numbers that can't breathe here. Thermopylae hides its truth inside discipline.
This wasn't brute force.
This was terrain.
This was timing.
And this was intelligence, fragile as breath.
Because Thermopylae was a transaction. The Greeks were buying time. The pass becomes a weapon. Not to win the fight, just to keep the clock running. But how did this battlefield become a weapon?
If you want to understand how war shaped our world, stay with us.
If you want the next forgotten world, subscribe, and we'll uncover it together.
To understand Thermopylae, you start with pressure.
This isn't one nation. It's a fragile coalition.
Persia arrives as a campaign machine, momentum as policy.
The land choke point and the sea choke point must buy each other time.
Supplies are not deep. This is a clock, not a fortress.
Thermopylae is narrow, but not sealed.
And every day delayed is a political problem for an empire.
Leonidas doesn't choose glory. He chooses control.
In this corridor, frontage becomes the weapon.
Because one side path can erase the entire plan.
So the decision looks insane until you see the map.
He's not betting on victory, he's betting on delay.
And adaptive armies always search for the fast way.
If the enemy can't use numbers, they'll use information.
And the clock starts the moment the first push begins.
And the Empire chooses the obvious answer. Break the gate. Because Thermopylae only works if discipline holds.
Every minute here is a minute bought elsewhere.
But what happens when the enemy refuses the rules?
Then the search begins for the side path.
Beat A starts with physics. This pass squeezes an army into a single throat.
Frontage is the currency, and Leonidas refuses to spend it.
In a corridor like this, the bigger force can't deploy its whole body.
So the Empire arrives in pieces. Only a slice can touch the line at once. Beat A is simple. Turn geography into a force multiplier.
The line is not a crowd, it's a system.
Beat B begins when impatience becomes a vulnerability.
The Greeks don't need to trick Xerxes, only to make the obvious choice feel inevitable.
So the Empire tries to buy speed with pressure. But in this choke point, even missiles become friction.
Beat B is about shaping choices. Every failed surge makes Xerxes search for an exit.
Because this defense is not about pride. It's about time.
Beat C locks the trap. Rotation keeps the wall from dying. Frontage control turns an army into a traffic jam.
In a bottleneck, numbers don't disappear, they pile up.
But every choke point has a fatal question. What about the side path?
So Persia begins to hunt for the fast way through.
Beat B works until the enemy stops paying the toll.
Leonidas knows, if the hills open, the gate becomes a cage. Beat C adds vigilance. The plan depends on seeing the second door first.
Now the trap is locked. If the enemy keeps stepping into the throat. Discipline makes the small force feel larger than it is.
And logistics, water, breath, rotation, keeps the clock alive.
Meanwhile, the Empire searches for a way to make time irrelevant.
Because an empire can tolerate losses, but it cannot tolerate delay.
Leonidas knows, if the second route opens, the plan become a countdown. And in the dark, the side path begins to fill.
But the defenders can't watch every shadow at once.
So the warning travels. Fast, human, fragile. The geometry changes in one move.
Now the plan isn't hold forever. It's hold long enough. Because if the gate's bypassed, the only victory left is time. And the enemy steps exactly where you never wanted them.
Now it's just one question. Can the clock be kept running?
Will the defenders choose survival? Or the mission?
And Xerxes senses the pass is about to become a cage.
for them.
The plan was never to win the ground, only to spend the enemy's time.
Now it's just one question. Will the enemy step exactly where you want? Because if they step into the throat again, time keeps bleeding in Greece's favor. Unless the second door opens, right behind the defenders. Contact at Thermopylae isn't a charge. It's pressure entering a funnel.
The first clash sounds like wood and bronze. No room for spectacle.
Leonidas doesn't chase the moment. He anchors it.
In the pass, even courage can't create space.
The Greek wall fights like a machine. Small movements, repeated perfectly.
Rotation keeps the wall from aging in one place. Numbers behind you can become a wall in front of you.
Thermopylae turns mass into friction, and friction into time.
And for an emperor, delay is insult.
Contact doesn't decide the day. The choke point does. Disruption arrives when an army can't move the way it expects.
The Greeks win seconds by refusing to slide.
The rear can't see the front, so it keeps feeding the jam. The wall doesn't fight harder. It simply refuses to decay. Orders become noise when geometry refuses them. Disruption only matters if the defender stays disciplined. Even the sky becomes crowded in a corridor.
Time is bought by small acts. Water, breath, rotation. And when force fails, the Empire looks for information.
Because the fastest way to defeat a gate is to stop touching it.
The pivot is not a new weapon. It's a new route.
The defenders feel it before they can prove it. The path through the hills is unguarded, my lord. We must take it. Most accounts suggest the Empire chooses the side path.
And the warning travels the only way it can, by human legs. Now the choke point is no longer a wall. It's a countdown. The geometry changes in silence.
Most accounts suggest many allies are told to withdraw.
Because delay only matters if someone survives to use it.
Someone stays, so the clock keeps running. And the second door opens, behind the defenders. Collapse doesn't start with fear. It starts with geometry. The wall can hold the front until the rear exists. So the defense changes shape, from holding ground to holding time.
Order turns turns into compression.
Leadership here isn't speeches, it's contact. Leadership here isn't speeches, it's contact. Now the mission becomes, hold long enough for others to be gone.
The pass falls, but it does not fall quickly.
But the victory has a price, and the bill is fast.
The immediate outcome isn't a triumph of ground. It's a retreat executed in time.
Because survival is the part of the plan that turns delay into strategy.
Behind them, the gate keeps working. Only now it works at a terrible price.
Someone has to witness the handoff, from holding ground to holding time.
Leadership here is a transfer of responsibility, without speeches.
The delay is only worth something if it creates a future.
Persia gains the route, but it pays for every minute.
This is what time looks like, measured in breath and grip. Even here, logistics is part of the fight.
The cost is specific. The experienced core is being spent. It isn't only lives. It's leadership and cohesion that vanish with them.
Thermopylae doesn't stop the invasion. It slows the rhythm of it. But the strategic impact is bigger than the road.
Delay on land buys options at sea, and options decide campaigns.
For Persia, the route opens, but the clock they lost cannot be recovered.
The story spreads fast. Not we won, but we held.
Thermopylae becomes a rallying signal, not because it was clean, but because it was clear.
It also teaches a dangerous lesson. People start to worship the choke point.
Because a choke point doesn't win wars, it only buys a chance. If you waste the time you purchased, the pass becomes only a story. And the enemy adapts. They learn that information can erase terrain.
This is the unresolved question Thermopylae leaves behind. What does the time become?
Because delay is only a victory if someone uses it. But what if this victory of time planted the seed of the next disaster? Thermopylae's fingerprint isn't a last stand.
It's a gate designed to steal time. And time is only valuable if you spend it well. Modern Takeaway 1. Bottlenecks amplify strength when you control the space. Modern Takeaway 2. Intelligence collapses defenses faster than force. Modern Takeaway 3. Endurance is a system. Rotation beats heroics. Modern Takeaway 4. Protecting supply and recovery protects the plan.
Modern Takeaway 5. Always ask what route you aren't watching.
These principles transfer, but the context never matches perfectly.
Because ancient war runs on different technology, politics, and scale.
Sources also differ on details, especially numbers and exact moments.
So we follow the most accepted outline and stay cautious where accounts disagree.
Thermopylae reminds us, terrain can equalize, but only for a moment.
The time is bought. Now history asks what the Greeks will do with it.
And if they waste it, this gate becomes only a story. Thermopylae's story begins with geography, not heroism. A choke point is a math problem you can stand inside. The weapon was a wall that refused to open.
The secret wasn't strength, it was a system.
Numbers became friction the moment they entered the throat. And the next decisions won't be made on land alone. And one side route threatened to erase all of it.
The plan adapts from hold to buy time and release it.
That withdrawal is the proof. Time was converted into survival.
Thermopylae doesn't end the war. It changes the tempo. Next, the battlefield moves onto water.
A strait can be a pass if you can force a fleet into it.
Preparation becomes the real battle before the battle.
The next puzzle is the same question in a different medium. Control the bottleneck.
On water, timing is formation. And fleets, like armies, hate being forced into single file. Terrain exists at sea too, it's just moving.
Intelligence will decide whether the bottleneck becomes a trap or a tomb.
At Salamis, the smallest preparations become the largest advantages.
The next battlefield becomes a moving choke point.
This is what we're chasing next. The moment a fleet loses room to breathe. Because on water, a mistake can become a chain reaction. Thermopylae taught the lesson on land. Salamis will test it at sea. But the strait only works if you can force the enemy inside it. And the first clue appears before the battle even starts.